Hello, everyone, and welcome to our DNA webinar. I'm Jerry Durant, your DNA host for this event. We're happy to introduce two members of the Cloud at Work sales team to present to you today. Patricia Benitez and Craig Forsyth are eager to tell you about the benefits of a Cloud at Work experience. Questions are welcome and encouraged, and we'll provide time for that at the end of the presentation. So, without further delay, Patricia and Craig, you have the floor.
Thank you, Jerry. Pleasure to be here. Always super exciting to get to work with you on one of these presentations and educate everyone a little bit on hosting. Like you mentioned, I have with me today Craig Forsyth, and I can forward here to the next few slides. Just very quickly, this presentation is roughly 30 minutes and all the phone lines are muted, but please feel free, like Jerry mentioned, to drop any questions in the chat box and we will be more than happy to answer them at the end of the presentation. And just so you get an idea of Craig's beautiful face and myself, we are your presenters today. My name is Patricia Benitez. I'm the Partner Success Manager for Cloud at Work. And Craig, I'll let you say hello.
And a budding comedian. Oh, sorry, Patricia, and a budding comedian.
It's absolutely. So we're super excited to be here and to give you an idea of who Cloud at Work is, a little bit about Cloud at Work. We were founded in 2017 and provide cloud hosting for your Sage applications delivered as a SaaS experience. We are SOC 2 Type 2 certified, as well as Sage certified hosting provider for 100, 300, X3, and HRMS, both in the US and Canada. Now, why did Cloud at Work start? For two reasons. There are many cloud hosting companies out there, but most don't know Sage applications, and many Sage hosting companies who don't fully support on the cloud hosting side of things. Cloud at Work brings the two together. We have the enterprise cloud experience that pairs with a world-leading Sage application experience. We host your Sage application in a confident way without any type of hurdles that you would have to jump through, and deliver additional cloud services to support your continued digital transformation initiatives. We do have 3 Cloud at Work data centers, 2 of those being in the US, in Philadelphia and Dallas, Texas, both with a little over 200,000 square foot footprints and running at 100% SLAs. And then the third in Barrie, Ontario, with a 30,000 square foot footprint and running at a 99.99 SLA. Now, if we dive in here into things, technology is ever evolving. And with that evolution, we live in a more complex environment with many more factors at play. The days of utilizing one computer on one server that your ERP lives on at your office are long gone. And especially post-pandemic, we have even more complexities thrown our way. We have remote employees on more devices at different locations and with new needs. And these new complexities, of course, come along with new trends and new challenges. Now, today, we're going to take a look at some of those new trends happening now in the workforce. Some of these trends are things that you may have already experienced on your own, but how do these trends impact how your organization consumes IT services? Have you had to, or do you think you should make changes to your IT policy to better handle these trends? Now, what we're seeing today is not just changes of a company as a whole, but changes in employees as well. So 16% of companies are operating fully remote now, and 12.7% of workers that are fully remote, even if those companies are not fully remote. A lot of time now, employees are changing jobs every 2 years, and that's the new norm. Or emotionally detached from work, we're seeing a 60% increase there. And 98% of workers want to work remote at least some of the time. These trends are also changing the way that our offices are evolving. Now, when I first started working, you know, like not so long ago, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, no, but when I first started working for banks at the age of 19, I was at a physical branch 5 to 6 days a week. And that, of course, is completely changed now and involved, you know, into open floor workspaces. We have a very nice office in Manhattan, New York, where we have an open floor space, and you know, there's still desks and there's still a physical place for us to be at. but eventually that has all evolved to a work from anywhere office. Now for me, that means from my home office or from my kitchen island in my home, when I really wish that it meant from a beach in Cancun, but that might be something that my boss won't be too happy with. But these changes in the office space make us wonder, what is next?
Hey, Patricia, real quick. I know it's kind of hard to be super interactive when you all are muted, our attendees are muted, but would love to see in the chat if any of you are experiencing these things. Has your office evolved as we just went through on the last slide, or those workforce trends, or any of those impacting your organizations as well? So, feel free to type anything in. And we can try to make it as collaborative as possible. Sorry,
Absolutely.
Patricia.
Thank you. No, thank you, Craig. Now, along with the changes in the technology environment, the workforce trends in the evolving office, we also have to consider the way that computing needs have evolved as well. Now, the big four constantly changing needs we have highlighted here on this slide. First being security and regulation. Are we meeting these always evolving industry standards and keeping to these always evolving government regulations? The second being elastic workforce. Companies are growing, mergers and acquisitions are happening all the time, and that means that, of course, the workforce is always changing. The big one that a lot of us are familiar with nowadays, especially post-pandemic, remote employees. And nowadays, a lot of our employees have the option to BYOD, bring your own laptop or use your personal cell phone. And then, of course, specialized workloads. There's a change in workload and the capability that can be done outside of the office. Now, with all of those changes, security is increasingly insecure. 62% of employers are experiencing a breach due to a remote worker. And a Fortinet study from 2023 states that 62% of organizations offering remote work options ended up suffering from data breaches that could have been prevented if the employees had been coming into the office. Now, the top reason for that, of course, is insecurity of home networks. 41% of businesses having experienced a malware attack in 2023. And then, of course, 1.5 million is the average ransomware transaction per month. Now, ransomware attack rates have remained steady, while ransomware payments is what has gone up, as you can see by this total here. 1.5 million is a big number. And companies that practice backing up data prove to be much more resilient in responding to and recovering from ransomware attacks than companies that shunned backups. On average, companies that used backups saved $1 million in recovery fees versus their non-backup peers. Now, there is 130 ransomware strains detected, and since 2020, there have been more than 130 different ransomware strains detected according to VirusTotal's Ransomware in a Global Context report, which is alarming. And 61% of US organizations affected by ransomware in 2023. Now, all of this is great to consider when you have to evaluate where you are in the winding path of digital maturity. And to make it a little easier to identify, we have created 5 personas on a journey to a secure Sage 300 environment. So very first on our journey, we have people that love their servers. They are firmly opposed to cloud-based solutions. They are fully on-premise, resource-intensive deployments. They have desktops, software updates, backups, and etc. They spend a significant amount of time securing those networks and typically have internal IT departments that help with that. The need for control sometimes outweighs need to address cost optimization. And Craig, do you have anything you want to add on here for our stage 1?
Yeah. So again, I would just ask the question. As Patricia's killing it, and as she's going through the different stages, or how we're going through the different stages of digital maturity, where do you think you fall on it? And maybe more importantly, where do you think you want to end up? If you're a server hugger, do you want to stay a server hugger, or do you see value in moving through the maturity, the different areas of the maturity level and getting to the end, which I don't want to, get there too soon, but to become an evangelist.
Yeah, absolutely. So stage 2, this is where we start getting curious, right? curious about the cloud, but maybe we're not sure where to start, you might find yourself here, and guess what? You're at the right webinar. You're here to educate yourself more on the cloud and what it is to be in the cloud. So maybe you're likely evaluating, Microsoft 365 or Google. You may be engaged with an MSP or with your consultants here at DNA, obviously, and still trying to understand differences in the cloud. Security and compliance has become a priority to you. Stage 3, we evolve a little bit more. We have believers, stakeholders that see the value of cloud solutions. They've moved at least one of their workloads from on-premise to the cloud. So for you guys, that might mean your Sage 300 over to the cloud, and additional workload migrations are being considered. So that can be anything else that you have there, maybe your Microsoft or something else. And parts of your business have been prioritized for security, availability, and redundancy, right?
Yeah, and what we see as really the first step for a believer is often Sage. Sage 300 is often the first thing that a Sage customer is putting into the cloud.
Absolutely. And then we move on over into stage 4, our movers, people that are comfortable with their Sage 300 being hosted and are considering moving additional workloads to the cloud. So they have a need to support hybrid and remote work. Maybe they're looking to downsize their office space or retiring or repurposing their data center hardware, and completely comfortable with utilizing a SaaS communication and collaboration platform. Maybe they're using a cloud service provider like Cloud@Work and constantly evaluating new process and technology. And then we have our very last stage, and hopefully where we hope to get you guys and help you guys to be at someday, our evangelist, someone who digital transformation is a reality for. Their technology is 90% virtualized. There's no on-premise infrastructure. They're on hybrid cloud environments and ready to focus on app layering for businesses and process improvement. And their desktops are virtualized. So utilizing a cloud service provider for infrastructure as a service. And Craig, tell them why this is where we want to get them to evangelists.
Well, I think there's a variety of benefits to getting to an evangelist. Overall value, IDC reports shows that companies spend 31% less on infrastructure than with similarly sized on-premise environments. So there's a cost benefit savings. From a server capacity and scalability, customers are much more, or companies and organizations are much more scalable once they're fully digitized and have completed their digital transformation. So it makes them more nimble to roll out new products or services to their customers, as well as to their employees. Equally important, or maybe most important, depending on your touch points, is from a security perspective, organizations that have fully gone digitally transformation are much more secure than any of the hybrid type of approaches. I think, though, one of the potentially the most important is focus. Once you're digitally transformed and don't have to worry about the daily care and feeding of any of your IT components, you can focus on your organization, your business, the services that you're delivering to your customers and your employees, or the products that you're delivering to your customers' employees, and you don't need to be distracted with anything from an IT or information technology perspective.
So we want you to take a look and see where you fit in this journey, and how we can help you and how DNA can help you to move down this path and get to where you want to be. Which of this best describes your organization? And then, of course, we can move on over into how Cloud@Work can help you with your Sage 300 and how we can help you on that journey to becoming an evangelist.
So yes,
Craig,
so
I'll hand it over to you.
Yep. So to try to tie it all together, Cloud@Work obviously started with Sage 300, but we have rolled out additional capabilities for our Sage ecosystem and our Sage customers that enable you to simplify IT, to reduce your costs, to increase your security, and to handle the modern workers. So it's to get you to that evangelist location on the road to digital transformation. Next slide, I think. in this to dive down onto our VPC at work, or our traditional Cloud at Work services for Sage 300. We're guaranteeing a certain level of uptime for each one of our customers, 4 nines of uptime guarantee. We're actually exceeding that uptime guarantee on a daily basis for our customers and delivering almost 6 nines of uptime. What those two statistics means, 4 nines equates to about 52 minutes of unscheduled downtime per year. 6 nines of uptime equates to only about 30 seconds of unscheduled downtime per year. We have been exceeding that 4 9 guarantee and delivering 6 nines of uptime really for 3 different core technology reasons. One, we are, and Patricia showed you our data center locations earlier in the presentation. So we're co-located in Tier 4 data centers that are guaranteeing us 100% of uptime on power and connectivity. So our cloud environments, which we own, manage, and operate within those data centers, are guaranteed to always be on and have internet coming in and out of them. Then we are proactively monitoring the environment 24/7 by 365. So if anything occurs within the cloud environment, we're going to see that first, and we're going to be proactively fixing that or resolving that issue before it impacts any of our customers. It's a enterprise class cloud solution built on Dell VMs, Pure Storage arrays, and VMware as the middleware. So if a drive fails within that large cloud cluster, we're going to see that first, and we will move any of our impacted customers over to unimpacted VMs before they even notice anything. So that excess capacity within that high availability cloud enables us to move customers around without any impact to their ability to access Sage, work within Sage, and to maintain a high level of uptime. The excess capacity also allows us to easily add customers. We've spent some time talking about ransomware. We have been able to bring customers who were locked out of their Sage infrastructure due to a ransomware attack into our cloud inside of 24 hours from them letting us know that they needed help. So that scalability to be able to bring on new customers in dire situations like that, or allow our existing roughly 750 customers to grow easily and expand, again, it shortens their time to market with delivering new services, whether those services are to their employees from an HRMS, employee self-service perspective, or from a Sage 300 functionality perspective. Each one of our cloud solutions for our customers is custom built to your organization, your business. There's no application limitation, so we can and we do host more than just Sage for our customers. Once you're in our environment, we take care of all of the underlying infrastructure issues or activities, patches, OS management, all of those upgrades related to the infrastructure are taken off of your plate and completely handled by Cloud at Work. You still work with DNA just as you do today to support the Sage application. There's no change in your relationship with DNA and your consultants. We work hand in hand with DNA on many customers right now, and it is a kind of a seamless support model. We include backups in our solution, so if you are currently backing up your Sage environment, that will continue as an automatic service within our solution, 48 hourly backups and 30 daily backups. They are all on separate networks, so there's gaps between your production storage and data, your hourly backups and your daily backups, so that if something were to occur that would corrupt one of those locations, the other locations are gapped from that corruption. You saw that there are geodiverse data centers in Canada. We do have 2 options for geodiversity for our Canadian customers. We have the Barrie, Ontario data center is where our primary production cloud location is, but we can provide a secondary location out of our Plano, Texas data center for our Canadian customers that are comfortable with their data residing down in the US. If that's not acceptable, and most of our Canadian customers do not want their data in the US. So we provide a secondary location out of Microsoft's Azure cloud. We use the Azure West Canadian cloud as a secondary location for to keep everything in Canada. End users connect via a published application. It's a remote app. It's super quick, easy, clean, and simple. The optional DR solution, that is what the Azure option or the Plano, Texas location is for. And we do fully support multi-factor authentication. MFA has become very important from a cybersecurity perspective and also a cybersecurity insurance perspective. There's many cybersecurity companies that will not offer cybersecurity insurance to customers that do not have an MFA solution in place. So we can support any MFA solution that our customers already have in place, or we can provide an MFA solution specific to Sage for your organization. Next, there we go. So Cloud at Work has evolved again from the VPC at Work, which is our core Sage 300 cloud environment. We have rolled out an IaaS at Work. This component helps us or enables us to host additional workloads for our customers, and we can do that as the bullet says in Azure, and we can leverage any Azure location within Canada for our Canadian customers. We do have a direct connection from our Sage certified cloud up into the Azure location that we leverage. So the connectivity and the response time and the security around that environment is unparalleled with this type of setup. And then the third service offering that we have rolled out for our Sage customers is DaaS at Work, which is desktop as a service. It is a purpose-built solution within the Azure Virtual Desktop, leveraging the Azure Virtual Desktop capabilities that would also reside in Canada, and that enables our customers to really adopt a BYOD, bring your own device policy if you don't already have one in place, and it expands the security, the uptime, and the availability that we're providing through our virtual private cloud for our Sage customers to the desktop of all of their employees within the organization. Oh, and I think that was it.
And that is all. Do you have any questions for us? Please feel free to drop them in the chat box. More than happy to answer them for you.
Yeah, we're pretty much on time, Patricia, 5 minutes to go. So if you have any technical questions, business questions, want to comment, if you think you're already there, if you're already an evangelist and not worried about the underlying IT infrastructure that supports your organization, it'd be great to hear that too.
Greg, it's Jerry speaking. I can see one question now in the chat box. That is, can we have a Sage CRM on premises connect to a Sage 300 host?
Yes, absolutely. We support, it's a fully managed white glove solution for all of these components, for VPC at Work, IaaS at Work, DaaS at Work. So we can fully support those types of integrations. And we do, across the roughly 750 customers we have now. We definitely have that set up that we're currently supporting. And my apologies, I don't see that question in the chat that I'm looking at. I might be looking at the wrong one.
Look under questions, Craig.
It might just be
opened it
that only organizers have access to the questions. So Jerry, you might have to read them
Yeah,
to
can't
us.
any more in there,
Okay,
Jerry?
I can read them. That's why I jumped in with both feet. So that's so far is the only question.
Okay.
Alrighty, well,
Now,
if you
Patricia
have,
will be performing this weekend in the Chicago area. So if you get down to Chicago, look for her at the local Comedy Factory.
oh, absolutely. And I don't promise that I'm super funny, but I guess I'm entertaining. We'll at least have a good time, right?
Yes.
But thank you everyone for joining us today. And the folks from DNA, thank you so much for having us. Of course, we appreciate your partnership and working with you as closely as we do. We hope that the information we provided today was helpful. If you are ready to start on your journey, or if you have any other questions about Cloud at Work, please feel free to reach out to your DNA consultant. And we are more than happy to help out or answer any of those questions for you. And Craig, I'll let you give your finishing speech or a joke if you have one.
No, I only have bad dad jokes. But yes, to Patricia's point, we work with Jerry, Miriam, Nicole, the entire DNA team on a pretty much like a weekly basis. So they know how to reach us and schedule calls if anybody wants to learn anything additional. It is pretty easy to put together quotes, proposals, and an onboarding. It's pretty streamlined process to get all of the additional information out that you might need. And God forbid if you're ever stuck in a situation where you are being held for ransom and you can't get into Sage and process payroll or anything along those lines, reach out to Jerry, Miriam, and your DNA team immediately. And that's something that we can attack for you very quickly.
Yep, that's for sure. And speaking for DNA, your account manager will be in touch with you after later in the week, I would think, once we have the recording published, so we can share a copy of this with you if you'd like to review it.
So Jerry, whoever asks that question wins the gift card. So you'll have to get us their information so we can send them an e-gift card.
All right, I will do that. I'll be happy to do that, Craig. Thank you all for attending today. Very much appreciated, and we look forward to working with you in the future on this or anything else that may be a requirement for you.
Thank you, everyone.
So no further questions. I think we're going to end the call now. Everyone have a wonderful day, and thank you for joining us today.